I didn't believe in unexpected things anymore. Not after 28 years flying across the world and sleeping in hotel rooms that all smelled the same. But then I met her. And suddenly, I wasn't so sure. It was a late afternoon in Barcelona. The kind where the sky turns gold too slowly, like it's trying to hold on to the day. I had just landed. Another flight, another city, another few hours of silence before takeoff again. The airport was busy, but something about that moment felt still. I was in line at a small cafe in Terminal 1, waiting for coffee that wouldn't change anything. I was tired, and not the kind of tired you fix with sleep. I was tired of always arriving, and never staying. And then I bumped into her. I didn't see her coming. I just turned, and suddenly my coffee was on the floor, and a few drops had landed on her sleeve. I started apologizing. She laughed. "It's just coffee," she said. "But next time, let's aim for wine." Her voice. Her eyes. Her ease. It wasn't flirtation. It was something else. Like warmth you didn't expect to feel on a cold day. I offered to buy her another drink. She said yes. We sat. And just like that, my routine cracked. Her name was Lucia. She was Spanish, 46, worked in publishing, and lived not far from the coast. She had 2 sons. Lost her husband 5 years ago in a car accident. And somehow, she still smiled like life hadn't forgotten how to be beautiful. We talked for a long time. It didn't feel rushed. I told her about my job. About Boston. About how the sky feels different when you're not flying for yourself. I didn't mean to say so much, but she made it easy. And I realized how long it had been since someone asked me how I really was, and meant it. When it was time to go, we walked to the parking lot. No kiss. No big moment. Just 2 people standing there, not sure how to end something that felt like it was only beginning. "Safe flight," she said. "Gracias," I told her. She smiled. Got in her car. Drove off. And I stood there for a while, like someone had just left me a question I couldn't answer. On the plane back to Boston, I looked out at the ocean. The lights below were scattered like small promises. I should have been thinking about my next route, or the weather report. But I kept hearing her laugh. The way she said my name once, soft and curious. I thought about her smile. About her story. About how fast it all felt real. I told myself I wouldn't reach out. That it was just a moment. Just a nice conversation between 2 strangers passing through. But that was a lie. 2 days later, I typed a message on my phone. I stared at it for 10 minutes before pressing send. "I haven't stopped thinking about you." And the second I sent it, I knew. I was no longer just flying from one city to the next. Now, I was flying toward something. Maybe toward her. Maybe toward something in me I thought was long gone. Either way, I couldn't ignore it. And I didn't want to. We started writing each other almost every day. Sometimes emails. Sometimes messages. A few photos. A few voice notes. Her voice had a way of making the space between us feel smaller. She always said good morning in English, even though her accent made it sound like poetry. And I tried to say good night in Spanish. Mine never sounded right, but she said it made her laugh. We didn't talk about love. Not yet. We talked about normal things. Her sons. My routes. Her garden. We talked about silence. We talked about grief. We talked like people who didn't need to impress each other. And slowly, that quiet space between us became a place I missed. The first time I flew back to Barcelona, I didn't tell anyone. Not the airline. Not my co-pilot. Not even myself, until the day before. We met at the same cafe. Same table. Different feeling. She hugged me this time. Longer than I expected. And I didn't want to let go. Her boys were polite, curious. They asked me about airplanes and what it feels like to be in the sky. She watched me with them like she was measuring something. Not judging. Just wondering. I stayed for 4 days. We didn't talk about what it meant. But when I left, we both knew it wasn't a goodbye. Back in Boston, everything felt quiet. The apartment. My car. The city I used to love. It all looked the same, but I didn't feel the same inside it. One night, she sent me a picture of her street at sunset. I looked at it for 10 minutes before I replied. It looks like home. She didn't answer for a while. Then she sent back. Could it be? That was the first time I felt afraid. Not because of her. But because of what I wanted. Because I wasn't sure if I had the right to want it at this stage of life. I was 52. She was 46. We lived on opposite sides of an ocean. We had histories. Scars. Responsibilities. Could we really build something, with so much behind us? Could we start over without undoing everything we had already lived? For a while, I avoided the question. I focused on my schedule. Took more flights. Stayed busy. But she noticed. She always noticed. On a call one evening, she asked, "Are you scared?" I didn't lie. Yes. She nodded. Me too. And in that moment, it felt like we were holding hands. Even from thousands of miles away. I flew back again. This time, I stayed a week. We walked near the beach. Had lunch with her sister. I saw her life, not just her smile. One night, we sat in her kitchen. The boys were asleep. There was a bottle of wine half gone. She looked at me, quiet for a long time, then said, "You don't belong here, Jack." Not yet. But I don't think you belong there anymore either. And that hit me harder than I expected. Because she was right. I had outgrown the life I built. But I hadn't built another yet. I was in between. And I was tired of floating. I thought about retiring. About moving. About what it would mean to wake up next to her instead of an alarm clock in another hotel room. I thought about her boys. About learning to be present in a life that wasn't mine yet. Could I do it? Could I give up the sky, to finally land? She never asked me to. But one day, I asked myself, if I had one last flight to take, where would I want it to land? That's when I booked a ticket. Not for a visit. Just to see. To be there. Without a plan. Without a uniform. Without knowing the ending. Just to be close to the question I couldn't stop hearing inside me. Could this be home? I didn't tell her I was coming. I just bought the ticket. Packed a small bag. And for the first time in years, I boarded a plane not as a pilot, but as a man with no plan. I landed in the early morning. Barcelona was quiet. Still waking up. I didn't go to the hotel. I went straight to her street. Stood across from her building. Heart racing like it hadn't in years. I didn't text. Didn't call. Just waited. At 7:42, her door opened. She stepped out with her keys in hand, hair still damp, holding a paper bag. She didn't see me at first. But when she did, she stopped. Her mouth opened slightly. And then she smiled. Not with surprise. With recognition. Like she knew I'd come. She walked over slowly. "You're here," she said. "I wasn't sure I would be," I answered. We stood there, not touching. Just breathing. Then she asked, "Are you staying?" I didn't know what to say. Because I wasn't sure what staying meant anymore. So I said the only thing that felt honest. For now. That afternoon, we walked along the coast. The water was calm. The sky open. We didn't talk much. And that felt like trust. Later, over coffee, I told her I'd found a small place outside the city. Nothing big. But enough. She looked at me for a long time. "You don't owe me anything, Jack." "I know. I don't need you to fix your life for me." "I'm not," I said. "I'm just landing for a while." She reached across the table and touched my hand. Her touch didn't ask for anything. It just stayed. And that was enough. I didn't sell everything in Boston. I didn't make a speech. I didn't move in with her. But I showed up. Fully. And for now, that's all I knew how to do. Some nights I still hear the sound of the engines. Still wake up thinking I'm somewhere in the clouds. But then I hear her breathing. Or her boys laughing down the hall. And I remember. Sometimes, home isn't a place. It's a person you're finally brave enough to meet. After years of flying past your own heart. If this story stayed with you, tell me in the comments. Do you believe love can survive distance? Would you take the risk Jack took? Or would you stay safe, even if it means staying alone? Let me know what you would have done. And if this touched your heart, leave a like. And share this story with someone who still believes in second chances. See you in the next flight.